So there we go. Awesome. Right. Evening, everyone. Thank you for coming along and welcome to the first annual general meeting of the Online OMH Radio community. This is going to be interesting because we're not like a traditional club. Most AGMs, you have a committee that's appointed by the society who present a load of things and are held to account by the society. But obviously, because we don't have a committee and because everyone votes on everything consistently throughout, things work a little bit different. So I'm just going to share the screen on the Constitution and what the AGM is intended to do. We are literally working this out as we go. So I've got a rough idea of the direction I think it needs to take, but if anyone thinks we're missing the aim of it in any way, please do speak up. So club representatives will organise an AGM each year. The AGM should be held as close to the anniversary of the approval of this constitution as possible, no more than 15 months away. The constitution was approved on the 19th of June. So we're a little bit early, but one of the reasons we're a little bit early is because actually the community was founded at this time last year. The constitution took a little bit longer to finish. We'll notify everyone through a prominent message on the website and by posting it on Discord. It's definitely there. The meeting should be held using our video and voice services. Obviously, we're using our Zoom account. And the purpose of the AGM is to enable the group to present an overview of its liabilities, review its aim and constitution, and to allow the club representatives to reaffirm their intent to provide the role for the next 12 months. So I've not done a formal agenda, but it's pretty much that, as far as I can tell. So Stu and I, the only liability we have as a club as such, the only contractual arrangements we have with a third party are with PayPal, specifically the PayPal account, which we use for donations from those who are undertaking training and to pay for the hosting of our domain, the 2 Zoom accounts, one's used exclusively for training, one used for the pubs and community nights. And I don't know if there's anything else on it. The accounts for the year have been available for a few weeks now on the notice board. People are welcome to have a look. But as of the end of April this year, our balance in PayPal stood as £1,402.23. Payments received were 2,290. Payments sent 562.75. Essentially, the outgoings were approximately 400 quid, 350 quid that we sent to the RAIBC, the Radio Society that assists those with disabilities. That was part of the 50-50 split for the fundraising event we had. And the rest of the costs are the things that I've mentioned. A full breakdown of all of the transactions on that account, excluding the name of people who have paid, because I didn't think that was appropriate, are available again on the site. That's the postage from the fundraising event, Zoom accounts, payments to charity, and yeah, you can just see Zoom, and web hosting. Oh, that was the other thing. We purchased an Amber USB encoder and decoder, which enables a digital bridge to be cross-platform. So that's me as one of the people responsible for finance communicating our liabilities and what happened in the year. Any questions? People happy with that? Any concerns? I don't think there's really much to say on it, to be honest. It is what it is.
Well, we're doing pretty well for most clubs at that stage. We're doing pretty well, so
yeah, I think we are in a strong place. Okay, the other one was confirmation from the community representatives that are happy to remain community representatives for the next 12 months. Since we're on Zoom, and since people can see us, I think Phil has confirmed to me earlier privately that he's happy to go ahead. He's in another call at the moment, but since I'm here, I'll happily say I'm more than happy to continue in that role, and I'll invite the other community reps to confirm as well.
Nathan?
Yeah, I am happy.
I'm more than happy.
Yep.
Yep.
Paul. Yeah. Stu.
Yep.
Yep. Who else have we got? Stu again. You're one of our helpers, aren't you? No, you're a training helper. I'm getting mixed up.
He's a muted training helper as well.
Yeah, I'm now unmuted, and
Yeah.
I will do my best to help again with the training.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the other people who are on but are busy that I've heard back from is Lance, 20YLD, and
Yes.
that's, are you there, Lance? Is Lance there? No, he's away today. And that's all of us, isn't it? That's where we are.
And Jez.
And Jez, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's out tonight and sends his apologies. Jez M0JXW. Just regarding the community representative role, it's if you want to get involved organizing and doing stuff, put your hand up and you can be empowered into the role by a vote in the community. It's not something that you have to do anything special for. It's not like a complex process. You just need to let one of us know. We don't have any power. We just get dumped with organizing everything. Basically, that's it.
But there's still plenty of room for other people to take organization upon themselves without being a community rep.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. And that kind of leads us onto the Constitution, really, quite nicely. So the Constitution as it stands was built on the premise that it's a community, a club or a community without committee. That let's just run through the basics. Operates in the interests of its members to further the amateur radio hobby, provide its services fairly to every member of the club, and to promote the community within the UK. That's only there insofar as those who are pushing it at the moment are in the UK. If someone wanted to push it elsewhere, we would support them. They would have to do the work, and we could change that.
Yeah, can we just clarify? At the moment, we're only affiliated in the UK to the RSGB.
Yeah.
But as we've said, because membership is, if you want to do something, there's nothing stopping, say, someone from Germany getting us affiliated with Dark or someone in America with ARRL.
Yeah.
So membership open to any persons that hold an interest in the hobby. Persons considered a member if they join, providing. So this is due to be updated. Provide a name. Have we got the?
It's on the wiki.
Yeah. Member links wiki. Constitution. I can't spell.
It's on the homepage. It's at the top. Constitution here. It's not that. No. Third paragraph down.
The green one that says
third paragraph down. Third paragraph. No,
to your right. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, where it says here. Awesome. So this is the Constitution as it's proposed to be changed, and it'll be a vote on it. So we're reviewing that.
The amendments, I think, are at the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there we go. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So membership, it's open to any person that holds an interest in amateur radio. A member is intended to be considered a person who's joined the Discord server, provided a name by which they wish to be known, along with a registered amateur radio call sign or a description of their status, i.e. if they're in training. The main thing here is that the Ofcom have a certain level and certain processes that get in the way of people being known who they want to be known by, but we want to keep a balance between letting people be themselves without red tape, but also having a kind of a level of accountability. So at least with call signs, it lets people be visible whilst hopefully being themselves. Club can't refuse membership or grant less favourable terms. That's getting changed to remove the reference to the Equality Act. That'll get changed to say, what we're going to say, something along the lines of, I think we were still discussing it. That's going to get changed basically just to say that it can't, you can't be refused all the less membership based on prejudicial views. There's a nice script I can we've been able to pinch from another club. Basically, the argument is we're not lawyers, so we can't say what's defined in the Equality Act, but we all know what we mean, and it's basically, don't be a dick. That's the best way of putting it, but in better language. Community reps, named individuals who are tasked with enforcing decisions made by the community. We can have 12. We can have as many as we want, and anyone can put their hand up. Decision making, it's everyone can vote, anyone can put an idea forward. If you want to do something, you're the one who has to make it happen, or you have to find someone to make it happen. Yeah, so I'm going to stop running through that before everyone falls asleep. But we've got those changes coming. The other big change we've got coming is visitors, allowing people to join the community and have a look around before they have to accept the constitution. And they get very limited access to what we do, but the idea is to emulate people coming to the club in real life and looking around. And it's kind of the same online. They can come in, they can have a look at the stuff, but if they want to get involved and get involved with the conversations, then they have to become members. So are we generally happy with the direction?
And Francis,
yeah.
The sticking point there between visitors and members would be, quote unquote, accepting the Constitution?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the visitors don't have to accept the Constitution immediately. I believe they have a 30-day period. It's a twofold. One is we had a couple of scenarios where there were individuals who would have felt more comfortable being aware of the environment they were in before they gave away certain details. And yeah, so that was the hope there, that would allow people to see the kind of environment they're letting themselves in for before they sign off. Do we have a solid way to who's accepted the Constitution and who not? It's a comment from Dan. You have accepted the Constitution if you've got access to the server at this stage, because one of the requirements was for you to self-authorize yourself to access it, and in doing so, you agreed to the Constitution.
You had to jump through that hoop to sign on.
Yeah, you probably didn't really pay attention. You probably just saw everyone do self-roll member. So that's the acceptance. Yeah, where that's the acceptance. It would be yes. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, and the visitors will have. So the idea is that the visitors can come in, they can have some interaction with members in a very limited area. Well, it's similar to like if you go to a club, you go into the main hall and you kind of have a chat with some of the guys, and you maybe see that they've got this wiki with all these activities, they've got all these training courses, they've got all this open learning that we're hoping to crack on with. And you think, yeah, this is a place I want to be. So you become a member and then you get access to everything, and on you go. Yeah, that's fun. Awesome. So yeah, any thoughts on, is there anything we need to do, or are we happy that we're progressing it, or has anyone got any comments?
I would say everything's okay. The only thing I've maybe changed is saying that UK thing and saying, like in SOTA they have an association relevant to different countries. So in us, the UK would be classed as one country, but the other ones would be an OAC association who would have somebody who would run it from, still obviously be in Discord with us and all the rest of it, but would run it as like the main person who looks after like the American section of the OARC sort of thing, if you wanted that.
I know why we said it originally, and that was because we were trying to make sure it wasn't just becoming in any one server. We wanted it to have some focus in something that we could build up and hopefully get to meet up and do things as lockdown stopped. But it wasn't intended to be kind of isolationist. perhaps that'll be a discussion we can take. I'm happy to take that discussion forward to the community development channel.
Yeah, sure.
I think it's just a matter of deleting that channel, that paragraph.
Yeah, or maybe within to promote the community.
I'd say maybe to promote the community within the UK and other associated groups outside of the UK to promote it as they please.
So to every member of the club, the club needs to become community anyway. Operating interested in the radio hobby, blah, 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 and to promote the community within, it probably just needs to be general within the amateur radio community, or
yeah, something like that.
I think we're all generally. I wanted to make sure.
Now, I could be weird. I could be weird. Okay, I am weird, but I'll have to say that your focus being the UK, and I can understand, wanting to look at changing that, but for me, the focus being the UK was the attraction, so much so that, again, Francis, I'm going to say this publicly, thank you. I passed my foundation exam. Still haven't heard from Ofcom yet, but we'll give it a couple weeks.
So yeah, I mean, to be honest, that was my reason for focusing on the UK personally, was because I knew that if we did enough and we focused it on where there would be a need, we could develop a community that could do more together. There's a lot of Discord servers that don't have a direction and don't really, they kind of just go wherever. So at least by having the UK, we could build it. But I would love it if other parts of the world felt there was a need for something similar and wanted to build up. Probably not the US. The US has probably got plenty of other alternatives, but probably like places in Europe, if they did something similar, that'd be amazing. But yeah, I think the focus is good, but I don't think it needs to be our objective.
No, that's not that. My point was more just to make it easier for them. So, for example, if they have like their association with us, but they can talk to their own authorities easier than we can, for example. So it'd make more sense for them to do the organisation on that side.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Cool.
Which is the way SOTA run it. SOTA is still SOTA, but the associations deal with their own countries, if you know what I mean, when it comes to associating with other things.
So have we dealt with the business of the AGM? Can we go on to the good stuff now? Is everyone satisfied that we've covered? Have we covered? So we needed to run over our liabilities, review the aims of the Constitution for the community, and have the community reps confirm their intent. Everyone happy with tick that box?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, it sounds like there might be a little bit more to do on the Constitution, tightening up what we mean by community and how wide the OARC is going to go. But I think we're good for now.
Cool. So the thing about this place is the prompt of the reviewing the Constitution and aims was more as a reminder to make sure that to check on the document, and for when we get it to a good place, it's more to make sure that we keep an eye on it. Well, the good thing is, as we keep growing, it changes periodically. We're continuously having that conversation.
We can tweak it any time and discuss it at any time and decide not to tweak it or tweak it.
Absolutely.
If you look on the for those who are watching as well, if you look on the wiki, which you might have saw when I was looking earlier, we've been building up multiple people, Paul, MTMPKL, Robin, myself. I know Mr. Havoc added some suggestions as well at some point, I believe, or contributed to these. So yeah, people are always doing it, but we basically just need to vote through those and discuss the UK change as well. Awesome. Cool. Right, so let's end the AGM and switch to the community night. So community night's really simple. It's basically to discuss what we want to do as a community moving forward.
Nothing.
The obvious topic is it's our first anniversary.
Useless bit.
Celebrate, buy some coax, yeah.
Singing happy birthday.
Yeah.
Who's spotted the new channel?
I've spotted the new channel.
I was too busy doing something.
It's already changed its name.
Yeah, it dropped the OAR 0 RC.
Yeah.
Because there's now 2 call signs. If you've been paying attention.
For Scotland and England.
No,
both English at the
Milton
moment.
Keynes and Bromley.
Cool. We got 2. Okay.
Yeah, I've taken out GB. I've taken out GB1 OARC
GB1 ARC.
OARC. ORC.
ORC, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, GB1 ORC. That's it.
Brilliant.
So anyone who's got a full call is welcome to. You can apply for an NOV for a special event call sign. Paul and I have taken it for a month or 28 days. What's your plan, Paul?
So mostly HF, FT8, FT4. I'm not planning on doing any voice on HF at the moment because I'm not really set up for that.
Yeah.
But if the bands are open like 6 meters, once I've done my daily contact, then I'll swap Raspberry Pis to the other machine and run with GB0.
Yeah. So I'll be running GB1 ORC. My plan is to start. I'm doing it from the 24th for 28 days.
If the other thing I was thinking of is if someone really wanted to have a go, but are not full or not set up, I don't mind sitting here for a couple of hours one evening with TeamViewer either, and just letting you run on the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. Do we have a club log feature?
I'm set up for cloud log.
Yeah.
Francis will be setting his up.
Yeah.
Anything I log on HF will go to cloud log live, but I also do a double check at the end of the night.
So my plan is to do a data probably on 10 meters because it should be the season for it during the first week. And then on the weekends, try and do 1 weekend of HF and 1 weekend of VHF, UHF.
Mm-hmm.
And just really, it's just get the club call sign out there and let people know that it's the first anniversary of the community. I actually think seeing a GB0 call sign or a GB1 call sign on data modes is probably going to attract more people to the club than anything because they'll click on it and they'll be like, oh, what's that? Oh,
yeah.
I'd say definitely the GB1 will.
The other thing
unusual.
I'm not going to say I'm going to do it all the time, but where possible, I might sit in the chat on Discord and just screen share, even if I haven't got audio.
That'd be quite cool.
I'm not committing to it, but I'm hoping to take a remote setup. I might have to use a club call. It depends what the NOV technically says word for word, but potentially taking a remote setup and going somewhere and having a play. But yeah, so if anyone wants to pick a special event, call sign up, they're free. You have to be full licensed, but you just go on the Ofcom website and apply for a new call sign. And it will just auto issue it. There's no approval process at the moment.
Can we just say that those in other countries are welcome to try their own local special event process as well for call signs? And
yeah.
So with the GB, so you get your own call sign for special event call sign for the club, or
so the NOV is issued for mine under M0TZO. So technically, it's just a notice of variation for me.
Okay, so
because you have to put an address down, the only place if say Francis wanted to operate GB0, the only place he could do it is come and see me. He'd have to come to Bromley in this address.
So I need to wait until I'm fully licensed.
Correct.
Unfortunately, yeah. Or be remotely controlling the station.
I say
the address.
Like on pub night, I might just make it so that if anyone wants to try it, I can have a break for a couple of hours and just let someone else operate. Obviously, I've still got control of the radio up here, so.
You can turn this off if we do anything terrible.
Yeah.
I'm just after my exam. I'm up fairly well, right at the top of Scotland. So we should get.
They send you this boring thing. Above it just says my name and call sign, and it just literally says this call sign
for using that address only. Yeah.
Yeah, the address above can be used between those dates. And it's the equivalent to a full call sign, and messages can be passed by non-licensed individuals.
Oh, and I've set up mine so that when it's when I'm using it, it will have my call sign as the op, and I'll have checked that with a log.
Could we also get a for either the chat or the wiki, a list of registered ones so you know that you aren't overlapping?
They're already on there.
Already on. Okay, cool.
So one of the things I'd like to be able to link to on our pages is like what we've achieved this year. So So I thought it'd be a good idea to have that as a kind of open discussion tonight. What are the things that you think we've achieved in the last 12 months that are of note?
What I'm going to do is, if anyone thinks of anything and doesn't want to say it, type it, and I'm going to whack it on the wiki as well.
Can we track every exam pass?
We can't track. I can track everyone who's attended a course because they'll all have used the Google Sheets. You've got a wiki page open, because I was just going to use text editor for now.
Okay, if you want to do that, and I'll make a page later.
All right, awesome. So yeah, we can definitely.
We can track everybody that's applied for a course, can't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like all of the what do we do training on? It's on it's Classroom. Because on Google, the questionnaires on Google Classroom, we know exactly who's attended each classroom, and we know exactly who's attended the foundation courses. We're looking at about 500 people all in all last year that we've trained.
Yeah, it's the exam passes which would be more interesting than the number of people who have registered or been attended once.
It would be good, but we don't get to find that out, unfortunately, because we don't do.
I'd still say it's a really good proportion, regardless.
Yeah,
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Well, I'm only aware of one person failing who sat an exam after the training course, and that was by 1 point.
Oh no!
So I'm not aware of anyone else.
Did they reset?
They did, yeah, and they have passed since.
But I would say there was a failure, but they reset and passed. So
yeah,
technically,
but I don't know everyone.
Pass.
We did a survey, didn't we? I did a monkey survey, monkey survey.
Yeah.
MCAS, not MCAS training. I don't know what user account I made up. Never mind.
The Survey Monkey reported into the OERC email.
All right, that's perfect.
Because you'll have hidden it in the folder somewhere.
Yeah, more likely. I'll find it. Right, so training is obviously a big one. We've had over 500 people through our books. What else? I mean, we've created an online club.
Created an online community. And I don't mean that just as a substitution. It's more than the club at this point.
Yeah. We've created an online community.
Well, currently, I looked earlier, we got 933 registered, but obviously, we know we are going to remove some at some point shortly.
Dan is exactly right in what he says, because there's so much help goes on through Discord. It's incredible to watch.
Yeah, a club meets a couple of times a week. This community meets continuously, and it works.
So a vibrant community.
Active.
Hyperactive.
And active.
And welcoming. I think we make everybody welcome.
One of the biggest things I would say is the people who I know have joined, we also have a very diverse community as well. As become apparent some nights on pub night, we are at one of the welcomest clubs, because we are basically, we accept everybody and we don't hold prejudice to anybody who joins, and we let people be who they want to be, and that is one of the biggest things. There is no sit in the corner. There's no exclusion due to due to views, lifestyle, or anything like that. It may have come across wrong how I've just pointed that out, but basically we accept everybody, and that is something most clubs would struggle to, hand on heart, say they have achieved.
Yeah, I hope we have, because
you can see that on a pub night.
You're not allowed to sit in the corner.
So create an online community of 800 registered members, welcome vibrant community, diverse community, let people be who they want to be.
Pub night.
Yeah, weekly.
Pub night, sip.
Yeah, sip now.
Sip net.
Getting drunk and create a wiki.
Digital bridges. How many community? See, we don't, if we want, beyond exams.
Yeah.
Candidates.
Also, on the day-to-day basis, there is this ongoing support. Like if anybody has any problem with either the equipment setup or anything at all, there are people sitting there, watching out for it, and there is, it's very likely that you're gonna get your answer within like 30 seconds, when you post in some of these channels.
So at my physical club in Milton Keynes, we have a couple of like special event clubs, community. I don't know what do they phrase them, Stu, for Morse and the technical one? Is it specialist?
Yeah, it's kind of
special interest group.
Yeah, it's special interest groups, isn't it?
Special interest groups. Yeah. Okay, so I could argue we have 14 special interest groups if you look at the chat categories.
Technically, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the pub.
The pub is one.
So would that be reasonable to say we have 14 special interest groups?
A growing number of special
a variety.
I think
just put a variety. Next week we might have another 2, but we might also lose
wide variety.
Well, 10 plus.
More than 10 special interest over 10 special interest groups.
And growing.
Special interest groups.
We also bring a lot of debate where hobbies at real life meets the hobby, and it brings people. We've also brought people together who know each other may know each other outside the hobby, but actually amateur radio has been a good little joiner in the middle. Sometimes a SIP channel becomes a bit more about work-related, like moaning, and sometimes when someone breaks the internet. But that is, I think that's a good thing, that it actually also allows people to discuss with other people within the hobby, sometimes topics close to things.
It's the social event. It's the social networking. I didn't mean that.
Support groups.
Oh,
social, yeah. So
social under training, don't forget Morse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Although I think the lead on that has taken a back seat for a little while, but I think they're still going to be meeting.
So can I say that when the club formed, I joined it very shortly afterwards, having just taken the foundation, and from the background that I had involved with the cadet forces, being busy every day doing something for them, and then it just stopped all of a sudden. I really had nothing to do, and I took up my radio, and this community has kept me busy. It's kept me sane. Might not look like it, but it's kept me sane.
I think it also helped me with my thing where I'm trying to do a year's worth of QSOs, and it kind of I think I started that in July. So I've been doing it the whole time.
I think this is the longest club I've stoved with.
Yeah, it's been incredibly helpful for me as well, with just having people to chat with, and also getting into new hobby. Like, especially during lockdown.
So something on the lines of, during COVID, it's allowed people who would otherwise sit on their hands to play to their passion, and also at times remain sane.
Yeah, because for example, like I would have been doing nothing except for the nets on a Monday and a Thursday for 2 hours, and it's enabled me to do a lot more than that.
Well, whilst most people might say COVID was terrible, I think for this community, it's what made it.
Yeah. No, it's right. It was lucky timing. I've got that email.
Well, I don't think there was anything else, so it was like we needed something.
Doc, you got your foundation back in April. Yeah. I'm just reading through your comment. See if you track the snail mail from Ofcom is.
What about the
should be there by
joint,
now.
The joint
I'm taking a look at that. I'm taking a look at the Ofcom website now. Thanks, Stuart. Just trying to figure it out. But it's something tiny, but it was major to me. I remember mentioning to you, Francis, I think that getting a license outside the US was a 30-year dream. And because of you guys, I managed to do it.
Yeah. So you just wait for your paperwork. So it would help.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Francis, the joint digital repeater, etc. I mean, it's not every club who's got such a thing, so I think that's an achievement too.
Yeah, I've put it down as digital bridges. Probably need to expand what this means.
That would be helpful because I've never heard of it.
We also did, me and Francis did have a private chat earlier, and possibly going to do some DMR through the bridge with the club call, the special event calls. But we might it might come up with our own call sign, but I'll be calling as GB0.
Yeah. Just if people want to.
I read that. I couldn't get the head around it.
Yeah, it is technically still M0TZO, but
it's because you'd have to go out and get a whole new DMR ID, and it just.
Can you not get a DMR ID against the against the NOV? Can you not?
It's only for 28 days. It's probably not worth it.
Use Dude Star and put your club ID in there. It'll mostly put the ID out. Not entirely the case, because if somebody looks at the ID, which is programmed into their radio, maybe it'll be your old one.
Well, the plan is I'm going to use Fusion, because on Fusion you just set the call sign and it'll either relay the call sign or it'll relay the bridge ID.
I've got Talk Aurelia, so it should come through on mine.
So I can always have D-Star on. Fusion on.
Of course, that might be easier because I could probably email Ian at ICOM and just get it done.
Yeah. We've got Fusion, or use Echolink, and then there's no issue with IDs being passed.
Or as you said, Fusion, just do it.
Yeah. There's many ways, but that's for the special event call sign. So we've had over 800 members, active, vibrant community. Let people be who they want to be. We've had weekly pub nights. Probably want to pinch some notes from the pub page. Seems like a nice.
Yeah, not the trolling bits, please.
Trolling the other clubs.
Active trolling community. That's a positive.
Quack.
I don't know if. Is that still? Are we still talking about? Yeah. So there's the pub.
With our brilliant logo.
That is very good. But this is kind of like useful fish names for.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Welcome to pub night.
We did find a problem with that because virtually every fish that begins with a Y is yellow something. So
yellowfin tuna.
As long as he doesn't start looking at the pictures, we'll be okay.
So we've got the pub now. We can definitely pinch some good words from that as well. The money we raised for charity as well.
For the raffle.
So we raised.
Can you bring up the blog page for that? That's probably easier, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll have it somewhere. OAS UK. There's too much on here. Oh yeah, fundraising. Yeah, there it was. Share page. So we raised £672 and we split it in half with the RAIBC charity for radio amateurs with disabilities.
We did get a reply from them as well, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah.
I just can't remember. There's too many things. I'm not organised.
I think you put that on the notice board on Discord. It'll be way back somewhere.
Yeah.
We can add it to the notes. So.
Yeah, just put reminders in the notes. You know, find it later.
I think one of the things I would say is the main site's always good for like news. The wiki's kind of good for general day-to-day knowledge, and I think that's the good separation there.
And if anyone wants access to the wiki, just message me in the wiki channel and I'll get you added.
Yeah.
And you can add stuff.
Yeah. If you do break it, let me or Francis know. We know how to fix it. I've become an expert in fixing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Torrin.
And I'll know how to break it again if you want to irritate.
Speaking of stuff we've done, speaking of wiki, the wiki is something we've.
The wiki came out of a pub night, and within hours it was a working version, and
I think within 10 minutes of discussing it, it was kind of...
And within a week, it was kind of similar looking to how it is now, with just a few less pages.
No, within a week, it was disappears for a couple of hours.
No, you did that on the first or second night. It was.
Yeah, you did it during the acceptable breaking stage. Normally, we will go through the community, but sometimes it kind of reached that point of It was being bike shedded too much. And,
I still suspect you clicked away before it's finished loading.
Yes, I did.
So we've got the wiki itself, and I can pinch a few things out. And we've had some talks as well.
Cloudlog.
Yes, Cloudlog.
We did have a series of talks in January and February.
Yeah, I've got the talks. Cloudlog is basically, we've got our own, it's an online logging piece of software, but it's public domain. I can't remember. It's cheap. I don't know exactly what it falls under. But basically,
open source technically, isn't it?
Yeah, it's open source. Yeah. So because we've got our own host, cloud host, if anyone wants an instance of an online cloud log set up, we're opening it up to everyone. So if you didn't know, you just drop me a note and we set you up with this nice little.
I can highly recommend it.
Yeah, just something else to learn to drive.
Yeah.
Oddly though,
always more toys.
Oddly though, the club call signs are actually on their own separate place.
They're on a different server.
Just in case.
No, we will migrate them at some point. It's just, it was set up when we set up the club call sign.
We hadn't thought about doing it.
Yeah, we hadn't got a club. We were just trying to find a way of setting something up so we could let people use them.
Also, we've got a useful, modern-looking web presence, haven't we?
Yeah,
it's an attractive website.
Facebook group, whatever that thing is.
Yeah, we've got Facebook.
Social medias.
It just relays Twitter.
Yeah, and Twitter, and no one posts on Twitter because we mentioned it on Discord. This is the problem. So one of the problems, if it's a problem, is because we don't have a committee. We don't have anyone responsible for doing the boring jobs. Because we don't have anyone doing the boring jobs, we don't have a consistent kind of communication approach on Twitter and on Facebook and everything, which I'm not sure is that much of a problem, given that we're in a healthy state. But it does mean things like when we have talks, they don't necessarily get advertised as well as they should, or we're not necessarily promoting ourselves as well as we potentially could.
I think the problem I find with Twitter, there's a lot of noise on there. If you mention what 3 words, definitely a lot of noise. But the problem you've got is Twitter, really, I don't always look at radio stuff on there. And I think Twitter, the problem is, until you've got a big following, it becomes a little bit...
Yeah.
Even when I post about pub night, we don't really pick up too many people.
Twitter, I find with Twitter, is that the instant you follow more than 3 people or like more than 10 people or something like that, then it just gets so noisy, like, because it reports every time they like somebody and every time it's just a mess.
Yeah, Twitter is the lowest of the low. Like, I have an account, but I just never look at it.
Yeah, my account, my app on my phone for Twitter remains closed unless something comes in and on the notifications. Otherwise, it's just a notification. I can ignore it. I don't use Twitter at all myself.
I wouldn't worry about us too much on social media, because I always think we're kind of like a little. We're not a secret club, but when you find us, you feel like you're at home, kind of thing. You feel you're in good company, and I think sometimes, where we've got a lot of people, word of mouth has been one of the best drawers into the community.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking exactly that. I try not to talk too much because you can't shut me up. But I was thinking exactly that. Word of mouth.
Yeah,
and I think that's the best thing. If we grow because of reputation, then what more can you
well,
want,
if on Facebook, if somebody's having trouble learning something, or they're studying and they're not getting anywhere, or they failed their exam, I just say we're here to help.
Yeah,
and we've got members from that. I was talking to a guy yesterday in Northern Ireland who was an intermediate like myself, had failed his full, and I said, well, we run an online course. If you want to have a look at this, we might arrive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we had
some, especially when the stuff that you've been looking at, Paul, for the open study kind of discussions start kicking off, and we can kind of share that things are happening. We can share those one-offs are happening, and it'll drag people in.
I think the other good thing, when I've invited people like Q in, it's like, oh, by the way, do you know there's an amateur radio group online on Discord that I'm part of? And it's almost that little endorsement that's kind of, I think, is a nice personal touch that you're vouching for the community when you post it yourself. You're saying, I'm part of this and it should be good. And I think that's a nice, one of the things I prefer. I won't pick up off of like Twitter. I think originally I saw you guys post something about we've started the Discord server. I was like, okay, let's just go for it. I think that's why someone I saw posted it.
Like, I also really like Discord in terms of how it's organized and how it works, and find it really works.
I'm not going to drop any names, but there is another amateur radio Discord group I'm with who are worldwide and nowhere near as organized.
We're organised?
Yeah, pretty.
I mean,
I've been in 2 amateur radio Discords, and this one is better.
I think Francis knows which one I'm referring to, because we had a little...
Can I ask about the self-service?
You ask about what? You say we're all guys. This is why everyone should be happy that we have permissions. If you see just how many channels there are down the left-hand side.
I'm the admin of a Discord server with so many channels that it's completely unusable.
It just goes on and on and on. You're not missing anything. If you want to be a community representative, you can enjoy struggling to find anything with the
I do not recommend if it becomes anarchist. And I think after a while, I spent more time putting Nathan the Inverted moved a channel around occasionally at the start when I was a community rep.
It's mainly the training.
Do you know about this?
To be honest, it's mainly having the hidden training rooms, because obviously you need to respect the training environment, so you can't have it all public. And it's mainly that. It's mainly hiding all that stuff that creates half of the stuff. But
I didn't realize how many there were.
Yeah, there's a few.
There's a few.
There's one or two.
I guess there's 2 per course, and then 3 courses running, and then each of those is doing
as part of your review. Do you want to speak about where do we see ourselves going?
So yeah, we can do that as well.
Well, I'm thinking field days. We'll kick off.
So do we want to do a more general, where do we want to be this time next year, rather than a specifics, or do you mean specifics?
I'd say a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B.
Should we do what would be good? What do we think would be good this? So what are our aspirations in 12 months' time? Because that would be quite nice on the end of
the open study groups to take over 50% of all the training.
Yeah.
So what I mean is they become so diverse and so active. It's not just going to be Paul. It's going to be lots of people monitoring their own little special interest group, if you like.
Yeah.
Until the presentation happens and it's sorted out and it gets archived.
It would be nice if we could have pool of trainers like that can do 2 shifts, if you know what I mean. So that there is enough trainers, for example, for the full group, that you could in theory run them in parallel, which basically means you need 12 trainers that could provide the full training.
Well, we're almost in that position now.
Yeah, the challenge is we've got 3 courses, 4 courses, 5 courses, and a limited. And yeah, like I've intentionally avoided the full course because I just not managed, to be honest. If I was trying to do all 3,
the intermediate, I call in once or twice now, isn't it?
Yeah.
One thing I would say with the training is also consistency in the slide presentations. I think needs a little bit of work on.
Just because full, because you have done the other 2.
Yeah,
do you mean,
just really. I'm not. Unfortunately, I joined us as an intermediate, so I've only experienced in full. But consistency, I think we might just need to look at.
Yeah, when I was designing the full, I started off with a sort of template that Francis had used on the intermediate course, and you'll see that on the initial ones. But then the later ones, the format that I've done has changed slightly in that
Yeah.
It's syllabus point and then a few slides to deal with that syllabus point.
So, I mean, we've got to remember that we started off doing an intermediate training course because we identified that gap after everyone had foundation. And the intermediate training course has had a chance to mature this last year. I think we've got a pretty tidy product that does well by people who apply. Foundation and full, I would love this time next year to have matured to a similar level. Because the full's on its pilot almost, isn't it, this time? Is this the first run?
It's first run, yeah.
Pretty good pilot, though.
Right, it's crashed a few times, mate.
I tell you what, though, the thing is that I found is the first time I was waiting for the fall, I was like, right, let's go for this. Oh, I've got to wait a month and a half. I think sometimes we should possibly, if people are interested, maybe let them see the training videos of past ones, and they might find that if they don't need interaction with people, they may find actually
it's not fair on the candidates to provide their training centre to everyone else. I think they would have it wouldn't be reasonable to the candidates who are in the session to have their session viewed by someone else.
It'd have to be pre-recorded with just the trainers,
and in which case you might as well watch one of the existing things. Unfortunately,
I agree with that. But what I will say is that post this course, in the short time before the second one starts, I need to get together with people who sat on the course with me and other trainers to see where we need to move the slide decks to, like you say, for consistency. I understand that the problems that you have, so I need to address those problems.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not quite exactly what you need. And I think post full course, we'll take an opportunity to have a talk through them all and try and get a policy together for the presentation size of it. And
because where I would like to see us in 12 months' time is we are the go-to for training. If you can't make it to a club, don't worry. We are the alternative. And I think that's one of the strongest things, that we're pulling people into the hobby because we can help them with the training and we're getting people through the training. And I think that's the 12 months' time. I think it's a good...
That will very much come down to the people who want to get involved in training. Because for intermediate, I've intentionally targeted fast track, meaning that, so if you take the Bath distance learning courses, the intermediate and the full, they're intended to be aimed at anyone of any starting ability. Whereas our courses are very much focused on essentially providing a structured learning environment for those who probably could have passed if they had this discipline themselves enough to do the graft. We're kind of just adding structure. So I'd be anxious. I think we should be able to offer a full package. I just don't know whether it will be suitable for everyone, but we can keep, that doesn't mean that we can't support people or point someone at the Bath distance learning if we think it's more suited to them and coach them on stuff that they don't understand, that kind of thing. But to be able to offer something for everyone, we'd have to have multiple offerings, which would mean you'd need...
The other thing I think is good with our training as a positive, though, is if people have got questions, they can just ask on Discord afterwards.
Yeah.
And if they're reviewing the video positively, they will come and say, hey, I've not understood it. Could someone just explain this again?
Yeah.
And I think that's a nice touch. That's very nice.
We've had a couple of people through who've struggled with one or two topics and they've come and approached us. And the honest answer has been, you'll benefit more from a more detailed one-to-one approach. And we've been able to refer them to a specific course that suits their needs. And I think that's it. It's supporting people. Even if what we offer isn't the absolute solution for them. It's letting them know that we're happy to have the best we can.
That's the bit I think is quite a positive thing to note on it.
Yeah. So full, we want to get seen matured. Foundation, that's interesting. I don't know. Have you got any thoughts, Lance? And Ewan, I think you were involved.
Only early on, but no views really. I don't know where we're going to go with the foundation. I think everyone will disappear back out to the world.
Yeah. I think Essex Ham does the job for most foundation. But the question is whether we try and take our foundation to the cadets, the Duke of Edinburgh, that kind of whether we start taking our foundation to the maker clubs, because they're the kind of people who would come into our community quite naturally.
I remember the Essex Hams Foundation course being really rather slow, though.
Oh, don't get me wrong, our course is superior. I know it is. No, I mean it is. It just is. It just is, because the Essex. I have so much respect for Pete, and he's done a lot of work, and it works well for everyone. But I know ours is better because it mixes things up quite a bit. There's a lot more involvement, and it's a lot more focused. It's over 5 days. It's much faster. I know ours is a better course, but
playing your own trumpet.
It's just had so many. I believe everyone who sat it has passed.
I think also one of the things I would say about our Essex Ham training, because my first ex who passed it went through the Essex Ham one. The only thing she said was there's lack of other people. And that I think's the only thing I think is different with us is you have a problem. You're on Discord. There's other amateurs around you.
Yeah,
you're not alone throughout.
You see, if we offered this to youngsters doing the Duke of Edinburgh Award, say for bronze level for the foundation, we've got to make it last 3 months. So we've got to take our time on it and give them lots and lots of projects.
Yeah,
with their leaders probably.
Yeah,
if we offer it to the cadet forces or the scouts or etc., the youth organisations, we can give them a dedicated channel on Discord that only they can get into. So there's no safeguarding problems there.
The other thing is, yes, we could probably get them through the exam in a couple of weeks, and then push them for beyond exams.
Yeah. For the Duke of Edinburgh Award, etc.
That's a good 3 months, and you'll get
with the uniformed cadet forces. There exists a process where the cadet passes the foundation, sat at the cadet unit, whatever they want to call it. But that pass is referred to the MOD Air, and they're given the unique number where they can get the license for free from Ofcom. Getting the other uniformed cadet forces to buy into it.
Off the top of my head, because
did you put down on the list beyond exams?
Yeah, I did add beyond exams. Just thinking off the top of my head, because a good number of us involved in training already have all of the appropriate background checks and everything in place, all the appropriate certification. So actually, as a DV thing, it could be you could potentially have in the first month you have to do the course and pass your exam. And it'll be immediately obvious to them if they're not liking it and they're not getting it. And then the second and third month is about doing stuff that falls into the Beyond Exam program. And then at the end of that, the next level, silver, is go on to intermediate and so on. Yeah, so I honestly think that would be a win if next year we'd got some specialist groups or youth groups lined up to foundation. That would be a solid win. Really grow the open study groups, another one where it's basically anyone who wants to know anything about anything puts forward the suggestion and we deliver a presentation or work group on it.
Yeah, I'm going to half pinch Theodore's idea, and when you set up the Morse one, can you add in an open study alert as well?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
That way we can.
I'm going to.
Sure, you can think of appropriate letters for each of them.
Yeah. So what else do we want by this time next year? I want us to have had at least 2 events in real life. So that can be the 2 UK field days that are happening on the same day.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we don't know about the campsite up north at this point.
Yeah, don't know about the campsite down south.
I
think it'll be the Indian variant of COVID.
I did some phoning around and I found a campsite that is letting out its field this year. Not the camp, not for individual camp, it's the whole field. And I think it was something like £500 for 3 or 4 days. It's up in Scotland. It's in Fife. I think that looks ideal for the Scottish one.
Yeah.
Cool. But ideally, I'd like somebody just to go and visit the site.
I've heard it from the airport.
Robert, message me later today. I'll see if it's close enough to me to go and visit.
It's in Cooper.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably a bit too far north, because that's really far north. Fife.
Is it? Yeah.
It's not South Fife. If it was near Burnt Island, it'd be all right.
No, it's inland. I looked along the coast. I couldn't find anything. But this site has been used in the past for kids in D&V, etc. They've got basic. It's basic. There's a farm shop on site. There's a cafe on site. It's not far to the nearest pub, and I'm sure we can get deliveries.
Hey.
So the
major problem would be mains power, so it'd have to be generators or batteries.
Grant, were you saying something there? Sorry.
Yeah, I drove past the place just a couple of weeks ago. I'm reasonably familiar with it. Looks like a good option, but I've never been in. I could. It's about 2 hours. I can use it as an excuse to go and see my sister. Yeah.
Even if we just get 10 people to that location, depending on cost, it still counts as a win. If we end up with 3, go on, Stuart.
So is the plan to have a distributed field day?
So the plan was to have 2 sites at the moment on the second weekend of September, so no contests are happening. Wow. 2 sites, the ideal is one on the Scottish border, and one in this area, basically the Oxford, Milton Keynes, Midlands area. That way, it's within a couple of hours of any point in the country you can get to one of the 2 sites from within the UK.
Well, I have an idea, but I'd have to ask. I have cousins who own a big campsite and a farm in Devon. They've got a barn on the top of a hill, which we may be able to turn into a huge club, QTH, and they've caravans, cottages, a pub and a restaurant on site. So it's just at the end of the A38. So you just enter Devon, go past Exeter, and you'd be there. Now, I don't know at that time of the year how open they'd be for such things, but that could be quite a good location for
that. Definitely worth. We've got field days and rallies as a channel, and they've done a lot of logistics about who said they're interested and where they are. So I'd definitely dump it in there, and then someone can see if there's people enough.
The other one is I have another cousin, and they've got a farm right on the coast next to Start Point, where there is an enormous antenna. And during the Second World War, they used to put a lot of antennas there right next to the sea, which would give us an enormous boost to get to like the US and stuff.
That would be, see, if there's enough people in the area, it's worth doing. The issue is enough people in the area.
Well, it's a question of if people are prepared to, if it's a whole weekend or something, people want to jump in their cars and drive down there.
Yeah,
make a go of it. You can have a lot of fun.
That's basically that was one of the surveys we did early days to understand where people are and how happy to travel. So if you pop it in there, someone will be able to do the logistics really quickly.
Or even put notes in the wiki link I've just put in there.
Okay, that works. Is anyone else making any comments? No, that's everything that's been said. Might be cheaper. Classed as out of season.
Yeah, I'm looking at the campsite thing that Robin said.
Yeah. I assume the second Sunday I assume the 11th, 12th will be out of season.
Yeah, they say their high season runs to the 15th of June, 15th of August, sorry.
Yeah, it should be.
So in theory, it should be out of season.
Usually it's
I assume in Scotland the season's like 2 weeks long.
It runs all right, but the schools go back at the end of August. So literally the cut off the end of the summer season is August in Scotland because everybody's gone back by that point.
So there's no point. No, that's fair dues. Right. So we really want to grow. We want to push the open study group. We want to grow our trainer and support. With the full, we'd love to see matured. Foundation, we want to get involved in, outreach essentially to communities and similar groups rather than try to target those who are potentially going down the Essex Ham. And we'd love to have at least 2 in real life events. Anything else which would be a measure of success if we're looking back next year?
Going back to the open study group. From the votes, it looks like it's probably going to be a Monday. But I'm thinking just every fortnight, so I don't overload people. Basically, at the end of each session, decide what we might want to do the next one. So it's not a sort of fixed schedule. It's like some notes that we start on the first one and then we go from there.
Well, this is kind of what
because I don't want to sort of fix the schedule and then people go, no, I'm not interested in that, I'm bored with that.
Like, this is basically what Havok was saying, that you've got to, if you have it every other week, if you're having it every other week on a Monday and it's covering a variety of topics, this is the one where people will be able to record and go back and look at it. So this will work, that'll work really well on that. Any other stuff this time next year we want to look back and say, sorry, is there any of the stuff we want to do in the next 12 months, i.e. stuff we want to look back this time next year and say?
One thing from my point of view is our logbooks are looking a bit light in other areas of the UK. England's had a great operation, well, some operation, but no one's tapped me up to use any of the other regionals.
Rephrase that, Bromley's had a good operation.
And Milton Keynes.
I've done some.
Hey, to be fair,
I don't operate much.
One person from my club worked you literally yesterday.
And Ewan, yes, I remember there was an MM station. And Ewan has done an 80-meter contest recently.
I'm going to do it every month now.
Yeah. We'll book it in for the log. We've got a rota on the wiki now for each call sign. So if someone's got a full call sign, just let us know in advance.
I might be coming back to the UK in the next few months. I don't know if I'm back around the time when you have the club stuff. Maybe I'll try and figure out. I don't have any equipment in the UK at all.
I think the main thing is if it's just a sort of just a random operation. I don't think having more than one station on the air is a problem. But if it's going to be a contest or something, we'll probably say, right, Ewan's got the MX0. We won't have any other England station on at that point.
So I would say we'd like it so that people are aware of us on the air. So the club call sign is actually known, or the call signs are actually known by people. Okay, so that's moving forward. I think that's.
And one other idea I've got, which I'll put in the proposed ideas at some point, I've started using myself a online QSL card service where instead of designing the card and having them sent to you, they send them out to the bureaus.
Are we kind of moving out of aspirations for next year into what we're doing?
Sorry.
Which is fine. Have we got any other aspirations for the next 12 months before we move on to what's going on over the next few months?
Like maybe go to a rally at some point.
Oh yeah.
But
the flash mob.
But the question is whether COVID will last enough for that.
But in the next 12 months, there are plenty of rallies at the start of the year as well as the back end. So, but that's an aspiration would be supporting attending rallies, and both as us helping each other at rallies so people don't go and buy trash because they know they've got someone who's got the back, and potentially us having stalls at the major rallies where people who are members of the IRC can put items up for sale and use our table, and we can also use it to promote the community.
Yeah, if we do have our table, I think we've got a little bit of money in the bank, so it'd be worth getting a nice banner made up that looks really professional, and then because we'll be the only club without all these old guys with food hanging down there, and smell of things.
Don't speak for yourself.
Don't forget about the yeah, exactly. Don't forget about the swag, right?
Merch.
Oh, here comes the merch.
Yeah, don't forget the merch. But I'm just not got it on because I'll be too warm.
You can't really see it, but this has got the pub logo on it.
Fair enough.
Easier with a lighter drink.
Okay, so that sounds like a good plan for moving forward. So next year, we want to be able to look back and see how the Open Study Group has grown, and it's really encouraged people to try things out in the hobby and take ownership of the learning. We want to grow our training and support. We want to see the full course matured into something that essentially runs itself and is valued by many. We want to reach out with Foundation into the maker community and the youth communities. Intermediate, we want to see is continuing to be a success. Ideally, we want 2 in real life events to help people who perhaps are a bit shy and just want to have a play or just want to meet up and be sociable. We want, ideally, for people to be aware of us on the air. We'd like to have a flash mob at a rally. And there was something, and the pub.
We should all turn up at a similar club with the similar name and just say, but hang on, this is not the real flash mob at the club.
Right, we should all
There must have been a mix-up.
Have we got any members near Oldham?
No.
Oh,
I think we're so far in, yeah.
That would be something that would be useful if we could drive the pinpricks on the map on the website for members.
Yes. I think that needs another push because a few people joining who I think there's members around who actually could help other people if we knew roughly where people were.
Yes.
Not like an exact bang. I've got a pin on the top of my head. Someone I had to look up where they were for APRS. Amateur radio stalking at its finest, but it's good because sometimes I might have spoken to someone on Discord and I can then say, hang on, you're nearby. Let's have a quick QSO on the repeat. Let's break that mic shyness.
Yeah.
And actually, that sometimes helps quite a bit.
I don't know how easy this would be, but ideally what you would want is a list of members and grid squares, and then you can search for members within.
Basically what we've got, mate.
Yeah, we've got that. It's just but it's another one of those things where we've got so much stuff it gets lost in the world of stuff that we have.
I don't know. There is another. Oh, okay.
We one in India.
Yeah, have you not seen the one in Japan?
There's someone in Ireland.
There's someone.
I don't know who's in Ireland.
We've got two.
Open. How do you access that?
As oarc.uk. No, thing's not working. oarc.uk. And then if you go into, I believe it's member linked, and then it's the map up at the top. My internet's being annoying. Let me go into adult.
It's almost like you're on a Zoom call.
There we go. Member links, member search, register my location, member locations, member map. What did you say?
There's also the self-service on the server where you can select your region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got into it. But this is kind of part of the challenge is the admin of keeping people aware of things doesn't fall anywhere because we don't run with a committee who are responsible for dealing with the niggle.
Some things could be driven by the bot, couldn't they? To come out every 4 months on the notice board.
Yeah, that's probably an idea that needs to go forwards.
Like an admin reminders bot.
It's like random. It's almost like an auto newsletter of like a cycle of features. We probably don't even need a bot. We probably just need a Google Sheets document somewhere with random stuff that we can post from time to time to remind people that those things are there.
Sort of what we do for our trading scripts, where we set up what we're going to do every week, and it's pre-scripted, just to copy and paste.
Yeah, just have like an 8-week rotation of stuff, and once a week one of us posts one of the things. It could be that would be nice and simple. Am I missing anything from the comments? There is an Ottawa Amateur Radio Club.
Yes, there is.
We've got a list of about 14 on the wiki under the pub.
Does Discord have a banner facility? It does in a way, but it only appears when you send someone an invite to the group. And the reason why we don't do that is because we try and point everyone to the website. So hopefully they realize that there is a website with all the features that they never use.
Can you
Don, if you go to
how do you add yourself to the member map?
There's a thing on the pull down saying add self or something.
Yeah, register my
location. I just did it.
I'm probably an idiot. I'm probably not logged in.
There you go. You just go to that Google sheet. That'll help you.
So I know we've probably got a few links on the web page, but maybe we need something similar on the wiki where we can just point everybody to all the features.
Yeah, that's something I could do with at times is how to do this on Discord, because I keep forgetting.
What if I just maybe start an A to Z of a club? What's the word I'm looking for? Club.
I don't think anyone will read it. That's the problem, because this map wasn't exactly hard to find. it's just no one knows to go looking for it.
It's more probably it needs re-promotion probably.
If it's a discovery thing, why not just have a carousel on the homepage that just features various things we've got?
That's exactly. I think we could probably build a carousel within the wiki of stuff to carousel.
And people see it. And...
Yeah, but people don't go to the web page that often. So instead, we just post. Did you know we have this?
Yeah.
Once a week on the notice board.
Yeah, well, I found I wasn't using the web page, so now it's on the automatic startup tabs because I was finding I was talking to people and I couldn't describe how to get to somewhere without the web page in front of me. But if it's there every day, I have a quick spy on it. Doesn't change much. AGM came
days of RSS feeds.
There's not really much to do. I mean, the web page, it doesn't need, the web page is the stall, the wiki is our working area, and Discord's our communication. So the front page doesn't really have to change, which works.
You know what, Francis? I didn't want to get this really stuffy, but maybe there should be some mechanism for recognizing the community reps. I don't know. I'm just thinking, you don't want to send the plaques, and stuff like that, But I don't know, some way to recognize people, or even, you know what? It's not even the community reps. I thought about the activity leads. These guys. Like you get
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like you get reputations or kudos or something like this. Some sort of.
Cash is best.
I think that's fair. I'm not sure how we do it because you've got there are plenty. You're right. We don't stop and say thank you for example, have it running the sim of the year or Matt with the bridge. I shouldn't start listing stuff because people will get upset. So I'm going to stop there before I start listing everyone and miss someone.
Maybe for next year we should aspire to do like a community awards thing then.
You see, this is what I wanted to avoid. I didn't want to get stuffy like that,
Well, no, not
plaques,
but not in the normal sense. You do it how the cadets do, which is called the paper plate award. So you award the award, but it doesn't have a specific trophy or anything like that. So then you don't get into the cycle of stuff you having to pass a plaque left, right, and center, but you still give an award to recognize things.
It just needs to be that people get recognized. For that,
why don't you just put a channel on the Discord called Bouquets, where if somebody's particularly thankful, they can write a little. Nathan did this fantastic job for me the other day.
Problem is, if you did an award, certain awards, the biggest dunce award would always end up giving either like Toro for the wiki, or it would turn into a little bit of like whoever managed the other day managed to put the RF through their finger.
I do wonder how much, house well done. I do wonder how much because I do.
But I thought instead of.
I was going to say, I just, yes.
I thought
from my club in the RSGB, but they're nice to have, but at the same time, the actual reward came from doing it.
Yes.
Well, I'm in the same situation. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, I know that, but what if you did it in the way that instead of your RSGB, they decide who gets the award, but instead we do it like how we do it without a committee and say to people, these are the awards for this year, X, Y, blah, 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 Z, and basically you nominate who you want to win that award. Like via a Google sheet, and then the community decide outright who wins the award, and it's nothing to do with an individual person or each people organising it at all.
One thing I would say: look at the amount of people here compared to the amount of people in our community.
True.
But we've got a lot of people who don't use the same 100 call signs I see out of over 800 members.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of new people in here tonight, but
there's a few new people, but I think. Audience participation within the community is not actually that high at times.
That's fine. Doesn't matter, does it?
You see, my idea was just to do something lightweight. I don't know.
That's why I thought like a Google sheet. They just automatically nominate who they want. Google adds it all up, and it's done.
Yeah.
And you give an award.
If you feel you've done a good job, write yourself a bouquet and pin it on your wall.
I don't know. I was just trying to.
We'll get you a sash, Nathan. We'll get you one of those, like, I've lost one stone slash that Slimming World has.
Gold star stickers. They're the way forward.
No, we could instead just have a cap, like an OARC.
A paper OARC award, yeah.
Yeah, but send it on like either a cap or a t-shirt or something like that. And then
You've got a cap, you can wear it for a month and you pass it on to the next person.
Wash it. Please wash it.
Yeah, that probably isn't the done thing nowadays.
Whatever works, yeah.
Yeah, the idea is fantastic, but I think the general perception is nah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The general perception is I'm going to mock you tomorrow night for that one.
Oh, I have a fun story about that though tomorrow night that I will reveal. That's more appropriate.
Are we going to have to give you the fun story paper plate award?
So I just thought I'd share this. Again, anyone can see this whenever they want, but you have to have access. But yeah, it's just interesting to how many people have visited and communicated. The benchmark, the basically Discord average is around 30%, and you can see of the people who join, we have more people we have a fair chunk of people who actually join and communicate and actually get involved. Look, everyone's from the UK.
7% from.
I mean, they're not, are they?
Well,
that's the interesting bit.
93%.
Yeah.
7%. 24 people are not.
Yeah, they're the important 24 people. They're also as important as the rest of them as well.
Yeah,
because we are a community.
How long have you been members of the server? Ignore that because that doesn't really quite work quite the same way. What channels do people use? Most people, 200. So in the last month, 223 people have read the notice board.
Entertaining a pub actually does that well.
Yeah, but it's only ever active on a Saturday, really.
Yeah, but
we start spamming everybody.
No, we do not spam people. We just gently remind them.
Yes.
We're not allowed to do that.
Unless it's Hibby and it's encouraged.
It's not spamming, it's trolling.
And it seems to grow nicely, and the number of leavers a week is like 1 or 2.
Why did it plummet? Did we get rid of a whole load of people?
We haven't
done that yet.
No, I did one purge of non-members that hadn't been on for like 3 months or something. No, that was when we turned on to community mode, and that got rid of anyone who didn't have an actual account and had just signed in with a non-account without, if you can sign and join a server without having a Discord account. But yeah, I mean, as far as the stats go, and it's a healthy enough community.
Yeah,
about as many people who are talking are reading and not talking.
There's 69 members who have not been given a role and have not been seen in 30 days.
I believe there's a mandatory.
Yeah, but that's very similar to the HF bans, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's
hundreds of people just sitting listening.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. No, that's about 50-50 split between people actively communicating and actively reading every day, and then there's other people who just dip in and dip out. And then I think that's healthy. You get everyone's at different points in their life, and you'll have different levels of interest in the hobby at any one time.
And also at the moment, there's probably a message every 5 minutes continually almost.
Yeah.
So
also it's a little bit like a bus service, it's there. It's like if you got a new radio or new something, or you want some help with something, the service is there. Like you can always.
Well, that's it. One of the guys said they loved
in a moment.
They loved how it worked as an asynchronous way of. Which was I only remember it because it was a big word and I had to look it up. but how it really worked, that they could post something and find out the answer later. And we say it in training all the time, don't we, Robin? If you think of a question at 2:00, post it, because either
someone will still be up, he'll answer it.
Yeah, someone will be up, and if they're not up, then someone will answer it in the morning.
And honestly, I think if you take a look at this data and compare it to other online groups, especially Viz Discord, you'll find that we're doing as good or better than those groups.
Yeah,
in terms of retention, things like that.
I think it's looking solid.
Can I ask you, what are we ranked by club size compared to other UK clubs? Aren't we like the biggest yet, or are we?
Pretty much. There's going to be other massive clubs that are national clubs.
How much ahead of them are of us are they? Because you were asking what we would aspire to next year, and it'd be cool if we were the biggest.
I think, to be honest, you pretty much are, because the only club I know who's massive is GMDX, and that is just over 500 members.
So if we, I mean, it depends how you go on the criteria. Is it fair to say a person has said, I want to be a member, and we don't charge them? Is that still fair to judge us compared to people who charge a membership?
Well, we can say we have, I don't know, 800 members and 400 active members, or I don't know what. There are different ways to measure it, but
yeah.
One of the things, what we were discussing now about how some people don't turn up very often, it is a question. We know that in this hobby, there are times when people just get off radio for several months at a time. Things happen in their lives, but I would rather we don't kick them off right away, because they may not come back if they find it when they do turn up and try to log in. It's like, where's my login? And they don't bother coming back again. But and as Vic mentioned, you get something happen, like you buy a new radio or I don't know what, you come back in and then you realize, oh yeah, there's all this stuff going on since I was here last, and they become active again. So I guess it's best not to just assume that if they're not like 100% active, that they're not like interested or whatever.
I think, or you get a small little notification on your screen saying the AGM is in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I kind of got the same thing. I've got about it.
I've just logged into the GMDX group because they have a members directory. They have 187 members at the moment, because obviously the only thing they do is one convention a year in person. And obviously for the past 2 years, basically, it's a no-no. So I think they've lost quite a few members, especially because they'd have people coming from overseas, which they can't have at the moment, obviously.
I think the only other biggest would probably be Essex Ham, but really, there's probably only about 7 of them that are actually do anything under the Essex Ham banner.
No, if you look at Essex Ham's Discord, they're like, they only have like 300.
Well, we're not far off the RSGB, are we? We're only about 1,000 behind, aren't we?
1,000 more. So we've got 157 YouTube subscribers.
Which are most likely to be members, because that's where they found the link from.
Yeah. And 548 hours.
TimStalk.
I was trying to find
TimStalk.
Just a quickie, everybody. Grant has offered to have a look at this site we're looking at. Are you happy to go, Grant?
What?
Are you happy to go to that site?
Oh, the site. Grant? Yeah.
Yeah, I can easily. I'm just actually drafting him an email asking him if I can come and have a look.
That'll be fantastic. Yeah, that would be fantastic. I think.
I'm from the radio.
Of what I've looked at, it is the most promising for that neck of the woods. I think anything further south is too far south for people that live in north of Aberdeen.
The other thing, I'll quickly have a look at Essex Ham's Discord. I think we're also one of the more active clubs as well.
Essex Ham's Discord is useless. It's like 5 channels and
It's unfortunately it's had its day. Its training's brilliant, but
I think it's more the target. It's the target audience for Essex Ham is different than ours, but than our community. Essex Ham's essentially become a foundation course.
Yeah, they unfortunately they used to be good, but.
I love it. I
see those are
the amount of time and effort Pete put into that foundation, especially over the last one. Because obviously I was one of the first invigilators, and the amount of hours of training he'd done at foundation, it was insane over the first few months. Got nothing but respect for them on that.
Yeah, they're up to what, course 88, 89 now, I think.
Yeah, it was insane. It was
200 people per course. It's like,
yeah.
I'd done about 200 candidates, and I would say 98 in the first couple of months, got to about 200, and about 98% of them had done Essex Ham. The only ones who hadn't done Essex Ham, most of them failed.
Really? Wow.
One of them got really angry because the questions on her none of the questions on the mock apps appeared in her exam.
That is something we've been saying from day one, isn't it?
Have you learned this lesson?
Well, that's the difference, isn't it, between the American one and the UK one?
Yeah, Yeah, you don't.
Well, it sounds like Essex Hams have really pigeonholed themselves into something over the last 2 years, and we've managed to not do that.
Yes,
and we have to make sure that we continue to manage to not do that.
I think it's because they've hooked onto they took advantage of forums and that kind of thing when it was at a peak, but didn't really evolve out of forums when forums died and stuff's kind of happened around. The forum users have moved to Facebook, basically.
And to be honest, I found Essex Ham quite clicky as well. They're very clicky.
I hope we're not.
We're not. Be honest. If you're a dick, we will tell you. And I personally told Francis he's been a dick before.
Well, yeah, but that's the point. We
tell each other. We deal with it,
and that's part of a rule for our pub night.
If you're going to do well, that's the thing. If you're going to develop stuff and have people who are keen on doing it, you're going to disagree. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a stale mess. So you've just got to find a way of it.
Don't be a click.
Yeah, our newest rule on the pub night is don't be a dick, be a duck.
What were you saying, Dan?
Also, guys,
I was saying, sorry.
It's much easier, in fairness, to deliver the foundation course than it is to deliver the full.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And if Essex Ham is the pigeonholed, for that, and they do it well, that's perfect.
Yeah,
that's
really where that's why we were trying to find a home for it rather than replacing it.
Well, we spent best part of a year getting the intermediate up to speed and getting that running, and now we're starting on the full. Now, the full might take off. It might be perfect. It might be the best thing since sliced bread. I don't know, but certainly the intermediate is working well.
And I see a lot of people asking when is our next course, and that's, I think, the demand is actually we've got a good demand going.
Oh well, for the intermediate, I advertised it. I posted one post on Facebook, but before I did that, we had 35 out of 50 places filled.
I put another one on today as well.
Yeah, and I'm anxious about advertising because I don't want to disappoint people.
We've already got 20 for the next full course. We haven't advertised it.
Really? Now I got scared.
Awesome. Yeah, but we've only had 38 for the first one.
So last 20-25 minutes, what else are we doing over the next few months? Any other thoughts or any ideas for what we could do over the next few months?
Paul go to a pub together at some point.
I did it in the wrong way earlier, but I was going to suggest for QSL cards. I've signed up to this thing called qslshop.de. If you don't have a translation enabled on your browser, it will come up in German. But instead of me getting the cards,
don't mention the war.
Instead of having the cards,
you started it.
Can I finish? So instead of having the cards delivered to my home, I write them out, print them out, whatever, and then send them off to the bureau. They basically just print the cards, send them straight to the bureau.
Here's a thought. If you want to go down the QSL card route, why don't we have a standard OARC card with our own call sign on?
That I like.
This is what I'm saying. This could be a good thing for the club, so that we could just, if we're doing events, we can at the end or every couple of months, we can upload logs to this German service, and then they handle everything. We just wait for the other cards to arrive at Francis' house.
That works. I mean, that makes sense.
If we want, could we have EQSL version as well, please?
So, yeah, we need to sort out the online ones, but the QSL shop is physical cards, but they handle the printing and everything.
Do we need to? Yeah. I mean, that sounds really cool. That seems like if we host an event that has could do with producing QSL cards, then that seems like, as long as it's not a rip-off.
Yeah, you can have up to 6 QSOs on a card, and as you buy more, it gets cheaper. So if you buy the lowest one, it's 15 pence a card, but it goes, I think I'm on about 8 pence a card with 1,000 credits, but you can have up to 6 QSOs, so that's between 1,000 and 6,000 QSOs potentially.
Do that. It's just whether when we want to. I mean, it seems like a good idea. I think it's the details.
I'll put it in the ideas channel at some point.
Do we need any connectors for the club calls and such to things like EQSL paying for?
I think EQSL, we just need to add the call signs to. I think you've got a profile for them.
Yeah.
So we might need to set them up.
The only thing you'll need is if you want to do your own custom cards, I think you have to pay a fee to EQSL to be a certain silver member. It's not massive at any stretch of the imagination.
It is 12 quid or something. It's
$5.
Really
I think the minimum is like $5 a month.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have
$5. I just paid it. $5, about 50p. Oh, sorry, no.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have that. The other thing I need to put up for a vote is membership renewal for the RSGBs come through for next year, for the next 12 months. Our membership expires on the 30th of June. So it's £61 for 12 months.
So that'll be funded in about 5 minutes as always.
What was the question?
Well, we won't put it up for funding. We'll play it for the community.
Yeah, I think the first time we didn't have a lot of funds. So
no, I think, to be honest, anything that depends on what it is, the community tends to fund it, but actually this time around, let's just pay it and be done with.
So how long was the Ambi USB paid in?
Seconds. The problem is when we last year, you won't find this on the PayPal reports because last year we agreed for this before we had PayPal. So we agreed that we would do it, and then everyone ended up sending me the money, and I sent it over. So I'll put this up just because it's a financial commitment, so the community has to give its consent.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's a club thing that we can't be a club without it. So I don't even think it's a question. I think it's
we can be a club,
given, isn't it?
No, we're just not affiliated with the RSGB if we don't get it.
Put it as a vote for should we do this every year from now on instead of voting.
That sounds reasonable. So
saves you having to revote for it.
Continued RSGB membership to vote on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was another suggestion for the Constitution where I think we said that we'd potentially look at adding a financial bottom where we say that the PayPal account can't ever get less than a certain amount, which I need to go and work out to make sure stuff like this can always be paid rather than...
It's normally 6 months liabilities you're looking at, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think we mentioned things like 1 year of Zoom,
1 year of RSGB.
That's your hosting.
Yeah.
So it'd be like 500 quid, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think we said around 500.
I think it still leaves as well. I think we've got well over £1,000 and we've not even got half of our
because some of our liabilities are paid annually and others are paid monthly. I would suggest you go for a 12-month liability fee, and that's your bottom. And then that can be adjusted automatically without voting.
If you have a problem with the cash flow, we can always pay out as bonuses or something.
Bonuses.
Oh, I think your train, we had a zero to your balance every year to volunteers pay.
Yeah.
Oh, let's keep sharing dual screens, doesn't it? I can see it's being silly. When I share on Zoom, does it just share a single screen?
Yeah, just a single screen, yeah.
All right, so if I hide that, because I don't want to give away people's details. But I think we can afford the 60 quid membership for the year.
Oh, might be a bit tight. That's 7p.
That's my point. I don't think it's even a question. We should just do it. There should be basic operating and admin charges, which we assume are necessary as a club, whatever, a community.
The reason why it was done for a year is when the topic first came up, there was debate as to whether we wanted to be affiliated with the RSGB, I believe.
Right. So maybe we should take a vote as to whether we want to be affiliated from now on or not. And if we are, it's just assumed from then on that that's an overhead for doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think it also helps with the fact we're doing training, because we get listed on their training websites as well.
If we kind of lost the affiliation, you'd lose probably not a massive amount.
Most importantly, we'd lose the liability insurance for events. Stu, I just noticed you unmuted.
£60 a year for liability insurance is well worth it.
I was gonna say exactly that. Ultimately, we're talking about doing some field days and maybe even a field weekend and stuff. that 60 quid alone is worth it just for that liability insurance.
A year's liability insurance will cost us much more than that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Well,
you'd be talking about 100 quid for a day, quite happily. Yeah.
Well, what I'll do is I'll propose it as an idea over the next few days as a moving forward. So we've now been affiliated with the RSGB for a year. It's given us X, Y, Z. I'd like to propose that unless overturned by a future decision, the community remains a member of the RSGB and pays the annual subscription from its funds. The next one being due.
Yeah.
And then
one other thing, by the way, Francis, I don't know if any of the club members are still doing it. Is anybody still doing the VHF UHF contests on behalf of OARC, or are you doing it for yourselves or local clubs or what?
I don't think I've not looked at contesting for ages.
I think actually, what on the wiki we have got some operations listed, but I think one or two that Francis did. I don't have any notes as to what he was doing.
I think he probably did.
So I think there was a couple. If we get the notes from the logs, we can probably add it to the notes.
No, it's because people can. A few people have put in call because when we've registered the online ARC for contesting, so you can submit logs under your own call sign to the contest on the contest system, rsgbcc.org, and you can say you're giving your points to the online ARC.
And it'd be nice if eventually we could have a short contest call as well.
Well, yeah, but this is about people putting their individual points against us, and I don't think anyone's actually doing it regularly in any way. I think people are just having a bit of a laugh and occasionally submitting logs.
I was going to say because the problem is in Scotland, like we have to go down to the clubs because you need seriously big antennas to do the VHF contest.
I think I've entered. I think I entered once as us, but naturally when I'm doing contesting, most of the time, if it's rare I do, and when I do it for Milton Keynes.
Yeah, but it ends up easier down for you because you have lots of people very close together for VHF. Where for Scotland, we have to go the entire length of the country to try it.
I don't think it's really taken off for us as a community, but that might just be that. That's because we haven't really had anyone in who's gone like, I really want to get this going, blah, 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 blah. There's people who talk about it, though, and people putting in chat logs and people asking for advice and stuff and discussing it. So,
do I want to contest? Yes. Do I have the setup to do it? Not really.
Yeah.
Can I be bothered with contest? Hell no. Do I have to set up? Maybe.
I see. I would agree with that. In that, I really can't do HF contests. It bores me to tears. But I really enjoyed the VHF UHF ones because actually you get to know everybody. It's the same people every week, and you get to know them. And quite often you'll hear on it. It's totally different from a 5959213. You know. And here's my thing. You'll often hear, "Oh, hello, Jeff. How are you getting on tonight?" Yeah, I've had about 35 contacts tonight, and it's just like honestly, if anybody ever listens to the VHF UHF ones, that's exactly what it's like. It's nothing like an HF contest.
I think the thing with us though is because of us being a national club as far as contests are concerned, we don't really have a chance. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just the only other national clubs and national clubs, because they're getting all the best contesters from around the country to form one club with all the best location, blah, 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 blah. So when people are doing it, they're always going to be doing it casually. And if they're doing it casually, it doesn't really matter whether the points get attributed to us or whether they just do a chat log. And I think that's what's kind of happened, that people are just trying it just to play, really.
Yeah.
It's like running the marathon, you know, you have these 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and then you have the start line for the on the lash all the week, you know.
So this is the other thing, because it's only a couple of hours, you know, on an evening. But I think one of the things being is if you do it, you need to do it properly, because if you don't, then other people's claim scores. It's a really weird one in that if I speak to one of you guys, then you log it and I log it, and if those logs don't match, then I don't get my contact with you. If you see what I mean. Whereas on the HF ones, I swear you could just write a whole load of call signs down. Nobody ever checks.
Yeah.
It depends on which contest. It
does depend on some of the contests, but some of the contests, particularly some of these Italian ones that just rock up and there isn't really any rules.
Because CQ Worldwide takes 3 months for these scores to come out because they really, really go to town on it.
And the one that Ewan did the other day, he wasn't going to submit the log. I said, just put it in as a check log. Nothing else. It will verify other contacts.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna somehow, what I'd like to do somehow is convert the successes of this year and what we want to achieve in the next 12 months into a short page to go on the wiki that can be referenced.
Article as well.
Yeah, that's the plan. Which can be referred to from our annual anniversary call signs QRZ pages. And then we can try and pass that over to Radcom.
Going forward, do we want some sort of I'm thinking of calling it something like success blog, but I don't know if that's the right word. But any activities we do going forward, no matter how trivial, we just put it in there and we can collate them at the end of the year.
If someone can, this is the thing, it's the admin of it. If we can get, I'll be honest, I'm terrible at the admin of stuff.
Well, if you look at how many edits I do on the wiki, it'll probably end up falling to me.
If you're happy to, if we have an informal standing item of successes, and we make sure that they get added onto the wiki.
And obviously, if anyone's here and they think, "Oh, that's worth just noting for the end of the year," just let me know.
Then we can do that. That works.
There's also a lot of stuff on the calendar you can refer back to as well.
Yeah. Anyone else got any thoughts?
Stuart, I was thinking about the contents and what you said. It would be nice, again, someone to do it, but it would be nice to someone to take an activity lead and say, "Hey guys, you want to do contests? I'm gonna show you how."
This sounds like this is where the open study group really can work, though. Yeah. Because Paul, if someone says we're interested in contests, then between us we can certainly, because there's also another thing that MCARS did last week. They did aircraft bounce using aircraft sky, and there's a
local guy to me does that regular. I'll meet you, Scatter. He loves it.
The aircraft 144.
Yeah, the aircraft one, you can literally plan contacts really easily using software that's readily available. And actually, if you were to do that in contests and just make that your focus, you could get insane points really quickly. And there's loads of stuff like that. And I think the open study group will give opportunity for those interests to kind of appear and mature out.
It's not just that. It's because if you're going to do something like that, you need the skills on building a directional antenna for a start.
Yeah,
as well.
We could have a separate special interest group. We'd become the 4-channel of amateur radio.
Yeah.
We want to really game the competitions.
You will just another, tag on a Discord. It'd be called Hit Squad,
The first thing on what I'm called the Success Blog, but we can change the name if necessary. And it's AGM activity night tonight.
You are what? Sorry, I was miles away then. I was reading something on Discord.
Go and have a look at the success blog on the.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Yeah. I think our mission last year for the AGM, which was obviously the first 10 minutes, was it needed to be no more than around 15 minutes. and we just wanted it done. And I think we did that. Obviously, then we got talking. That was the mistake. Right. Any more stuff over there? I mean, the next few months seem pretty clear. We've got 2 field days that we're planning at the end of the year. We've got the event call signs. We've got an intermediate course starting in June that's pretty much fully subscribed. A full course coming to the end. And a lot of people talking about a lot of interesting random things.
And a full course starting in August.
What are you doing to yourself?
Yeah. There's 20 potential candidates already.
Yay. Awesome. Do we wrap it up, or has anyone got any further thoughts?
I was going to say that, Francis, I'm going to run away if that's all right. So
yeah, I think we'll all be behind. If I'm honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, good to see you all, guys. Thank you very much. I'm really sorry, Francis. Normally Fridays are really, really difficult for me. We have a family quiz every Friday night, so
yeah.
Never joined. But tonight I said, well, sorry, but I'm
made one exception here. No, it's all good. It was. I'm actually up at 2:30 for another event that's with people in another country. So I'm kind of keen to go to bed to get up at 2:30. So,
as you do. It's all right. My wife's at the moment. I'm surprised you didn't moan about the noise because she's watching Critical Role, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, lovely.
Fair enough. But yeah, so any other thoughts or comments? Feel free to run, Stu. Anyone else? Any other thoughts or comments? No. Oh, Stuart, too.
Yeah. Oh no.
No. I think Stuart HA5.
I was saying cheers to the other Stuart.
Fair dues. Right, let's wrap it up then. So this video, obviously, this goes up so people can see what they missed if they need something to help them get to sleep. I don't think anyone makes it this far in, so let me hit start.
Congratulations if you have made it this far.
Leave a comment.
Indeed, so claim your prize.
Yeah. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like. Right. Okay. If you are watching on YouTube, thanks. Bye-bye.